Tom and Nancy have been on Mountain Men, a popular TV show on the History Channel. There was a story going around the internet that Mountain Men's Tom Oar was dead. Instead of what was said without permission, Tom Oar is still alive and well. If you don't believe that he is alive and well, there is proof. Kendra Schneiderman, who recently spent Tom Oar's 81st birthday with him and his family, says that the legend is still living, a peaceful life with his family and friends. His sister-in-law, Connie Oar, has also said things that prove the tale is real. Today is December 21, 2024, according to what Connie Oar said in public. "That was Tom Oar leaving my house. I was going to give him popcorn balls that Jack and I made. It's something our family does every Christmas. Tom was just on his way to check his traps on his land across the street from our house. All is well with him. In fact, his sled doesn't work. His trap line is being checked on foot. He lived." Also, a new post from this year from the Facebook page of the Tom Oar Mountain Men fan group is more proof that Tom Oar is still alive. Tom Oar has lived in northwest Montana's remote Yak Valley for almost 50 years, a long time away from the modern world. He and his wife, Nancy Oar, make a living by hunting, drying hides, and making one-of-a-kind primitive crafts out of things they find in nature. Tom and Nancy Oar lived in the same wood cabin that they had built by hand over 40 years before. Even though it looked like the old couple wasn't gonna leave ever, they already did. The hero fought the problems that came with living in the wild, even when he was in his 80s. In season 11, Tom Oar had health problems. Because his heart wasn't pumping blood well, he had trouble breathing and fluid built up in his lungs. The legend may not have been able to fully live the hard lifestyle shown on the show because of health problems, according to a source. The living hero did choose to leave Mountain Men, though. Fans were interested in what the star was doing after he made his choice. Tom Oar finally chose to hang up his boots after being an important part of the show since it began airing in 2012. For a while, he and his wife lived in the remote Yak River Valley, but he finally chose to move back to the city. As Tom Oar got older, it got harder for him to deal with life in the remote area near the Idaho border, so he gave up and chose to move to Florida with Nancy Oar. They did talk about how their sudden move made them feel. After living in the woods for 35 years, they both agreed that life in their new home was very different. But now that there are no longer any rumors that he has died, let's look into the legend's history. Who is Tom Oar really? The year 1943 saw the birth of Tom Oar in Rockford, Illinois. A lot of details about his past are missing, but one thing is for sure. For Tom Oar, his father, Chike Oar, was very important. In the U.S. Wild West shows of the late 1800s, his father was a famous figure. The way his father lived shows how well Tom Oar can fit into a rough life. From a young age, Tom Oar was interested in rough living and traditional skills because his family had ties to rural life. As a child, Tom Oar was also heavily involved in the culture of the American West. This had a big impact on the legend's interests and career choices. Tom Oar learned a lot about the skills and way of life of historical frontiersmen through his father's work in Wild West shows. This gave him a deep appreciation for being self-sufficient and living in close connection with nature. Tom Oar is 6 feet tall and weighs 80 kilograms. Let's talk about his job now. Tom's path to becoming a manager. When Tom Oar became interested in rodeo, he started his working life. He learned how to tame wild horses while working as a bronc rider for more than 20 years. This time made him stronger and helped him learn more about how animals behave, which later came in very handy. From Michigan to Missouri, we went on a trip all over the Midwest. I trick raised until I was 15. My dad and brother stopped, but I kept running the show. My dream job was to ride bulls ever since I was 3 years old. We worked for a rodeo company called Jerry Partlow. When I was about 10, he put a steer in the chutes for me to ride. That's how I became a cowboy in a rodeo. When Tom Oar stopped competing in rodeos, he chose to live a simple life to get away from the busy world. He and his wife, Nancy Oar, moved to northwestern Montana's Yak River Valley, which is far away. Here is where Tom Oar chose to live a self-sufficient life and became a master woodworker and tanner. Native American traditional ways are used to make buckskin clothing and other handcrafted items. Tom Oar joined the American reality TV show Mountain Men in 2012. After the first season, he was on the show for all 8 seasons. The character of his wife, Nancy, also shows up a lot. 12 people were in the main group of the show, and Tom Oar is one of only 3 who were there from the beginning. The people who work on the show all live in different parts of the country. Will Stringfellow gave Tom Oar a 100% beaver felt hat blank, which he used to make his own hat. He wore it during the first 2 seasons of Mountain Men. He also made the beaded hat band by hand, which gave his outfit a personal touch. This hat is a men's size 7, and it has sometimes come with a picture of Tom Oar himself that has been signed. He kept living his life the same way he did before he left the show. His words mean that the show hasn't really changed me yet. This is the most business I've ever had. We've had so much work in the last year that I could never keep up. We sew every jacket and pair of buckskin pants by hand. We don't sew with one. Given Tom Oar's choice of living, one might wonder how much money the legend is making. Let's find out. Biography says that Tom Oar made up to $5,000, 0 cents per show. So it's possible that his earnings have changed over time or been affected by different things. Several sites say that Tom Oar's net worth this year is between $200,000, 0 cents, and $250,000, 0 cents. A lot of fans and watchers think that living in the wilderness is all about staying alive, so this comes as a shock to many. The character is mostly wealthy because of his part on the History Channel show Mountain Men, where he was said to make about $15,000, 0 cents per show. Fans are interested in both the legend's shockingly high net worth and the land he owns. Tom Oar said in an interview this year, "I only have 6 acres, but everything after that is open land. You don't have to tell me if I can hunt or catch." He talked about the large areas of public land that were around his house. Other sources say that Tom Oar's property is 17 acres, which shows how committed he is to living in the Rocky Mountains without electricity or running water. Tom Oar has stayed true to his humble and self-sufficient way of life, even though this legend has made a lot of money. His home in the Yak River Valley shows how simple he likes things to be, and how he wants to live in harmony with nature. These are the beliefs he has lived by for decades. Even though there aren't any stories about Tom Oar's charitable work or his interests in it, the legend has left a lasting legacy through his work to keep traditional crafts alive and encourage people to live on their own. Tom Oar's public appearances and work on Mountain Men have motivated many people to learn about and respect the values of survival in the wilderness, sustainability, and traditional craftsmanship. His life is a tribute to a way of life that is dying out, a way of life where people depend on their skills and creativity to live in peace with nature. Tom Oar and his wife Nancy Oar are very happy together. Moving on, let's look at how the old pair got together, Sarah Oar and Tom Oar. Suzanne and Tom Oar have 2 kids. Keely Oar, their daughter, died in 2015, which was sad. People have talked about their son Chad Oar in conversations about Tom Oar's life, even though the family usually stays out of the public eye. Tom and his wife moved to Montana because they loved the place when they went to see a friend there. She was 30 years old, and Tom Oar was 35 years old. They had lived in Rockford and a log house by the Picatonica River. The legend broke and trained horses on a family farm near Byron, while Nancy packed boxes for North American van lines. He rode bulls and saddle broncs in rodeos. Their names are Chuck and Tom Klaba, and they both lived in Rockford. That's where they lived for the first 17 years of their lives. They didn't have power or running water. Nancy Oar carried water in 5-gallon buckets for them. She told me, "At least I had a well." Nancy and Tom Oar are both from northern Illinois, American Cowboy once said, "There was a time in our lives when we thought most of our rodeoing was over and we wanted to move to Montana and build a log house. We bought a chainsaw in Illinois so that we could use it to build a house here. Their home was made by hand and they've lived there for over 34 years. Before, they lived farther away from the road, about 9 miles away. 16 years ago, they moved to a 1,500 square foot log house. There is power and running water in the house. It is in the northwest corner of Montana and the northeast corner of Idaho, right on the border with Canada. It is in the Kootenai National Forest. In front of them are the Purcell Mountains, and 70 feet below them is the West Fork of the Yak River. Nancy Oar once said that the scenery feeds our souls. Tom Oar said that the other day it was 20 degrees and in the afternoon it got up to 82 degrees. Nancy also said that temperature changes of 50 degrees are common. The History Channel found Tom and Nancy Oar through an agent from a film company who knew one of their friends. Their friend ran the Linehan Outfitting Company out of Troy, Montauk, and helped hunters and anglers. He also owned cabins close to where the Oars lived. A camera crew followed Tom Oar to a Mountain Man rendezvous meeting as part of shooting for the 8-show series. About 5,000 people went to a camp in the mountains to take part in these kinds of events. They wore clothes from the 1,840 Essen teepees or tents. Tom Oar goes to the 10-day meetings once or twice a summer, and he's been to New Mexico. He takes animal hides to events and sells them there. He also mails the hides from their home. Before the producers of Mountain Men found him, he lived in the woods near the Yak River for a long time in Troy, Montana. He got money by tanning animal skins and making moccasins and other clothes. His clothes sales brought in enough money for him and his wife to live on. They didn't have to go grocery shopping as much because he got food on the hunt. It would have been hard for them to do so because they lived far from a store. Tanned hides are how Tom Oar and his wife Nancy Oar make a living. The couple also makes pants, shirts, and jackets out of classic buckskin moccasins. The tale told an American cowboy about his job and said that he does a lot of the same things that Indians did more than 200 years ago. The buckskin he takes care of is colored with animal brain and feels more like cloth than leather. You can wear the moccasins all day without getting tired because they are light and let your feet breathe. He once told him that they had no plans to move when asked about his plans. Tom said this in a phone interview. "We don't have any plans to move." Judy said, "We want to stay here for as long as we can." Also, Tom Oar has said that his way of life isn't for everyone. He said it's hard. Nancy Oar also said that it's risky to be self-employed and that we don't have health or home insurance. But they are aware that they are getting old, and Tom Oar's children and grandkids in Florida want them to live close by, he said. She said, "We're not there yet." It was also said that she hopes Mountain Men watchers will feel like they are in charge of their lives. Some people might be able to look at their own lives and find good things in them. She knows that Tom is happy where he is. It's what he loves to do, she said. The man has a free spirit. As was already said, the couple did decide to go to Florida in the end, and they are now living there with their family. Finally, let's talk about the American TV show Mountain Men and the people who played the lead roles in it. Mountain Men and the people who played on it. The popular reality TV show Mountain Men is an American show that debuted on May 31, 2012 on the History Channel. The Mountain Men shows us the lives of people who have decided to live away from people and the city. The following people are in the group. From Season 1 to Season 12, Eustace Conway was on the show. From Seasons 1 to 8, Marty Mayorato was in episodes, and from Seasons 13 to now, he is still there. From the first season to now, Tom Oar has been in it. Seasons 2 and 3 of Charlie Tucker, George Michaud was only in the second season. Years 2 through 6 of Rich Lewis. Years 3 and 4 of Kyle Bell. From Season 4 to Season 9, Morgan Beasley. From Seasons 5 to 9 of Jason Hawke. Brent Jameson was only in Season 6. Ellen Stern from Season 6 to 8. Jake Herrick 7th season and up to now. The show had Mike Horseman from season 7 to season 11, and again from season 13 to the present. There are 12 seasons of Harry Yoren from season 8 to 12, Kid Yoren, and from season 9 to 11, Josh Kirk. It was September 15, 1961, when Eustace Robinson Conway was born. This person is an American environmentalist who was on the History Channel show Mountain Men. He left home when he was 17 years old to live in a teepee in the woods. He says that his 103-day horseback ride across the United States from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean set a world record. He has walked the whole Appalachian Trail. That being said, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times of the day, and the book Bud and Me all say that it took 62 days to ride a horse across North America. Bud and Temple Abernathy, who were 11 and 7 years old at the time, rode horses from New York City to San Francisco, a distance of 3,619 miles, 5,824 kilometers. Their trip began in August 1911. Eustace Conway lives on a piece of land in North Carolina's Blue Ridge Mountains that he calls Turtle Island. He hosts people there and teaches them basic skills for staying alive in the wild. Besides that, he makes money by collecting firewood using old methods. Conway fights to keep ownership of his land because of a lien on it. Mary Mayoroto was born in northern Wisconsin on July 10, 1966. His parents are Thomas T. Mayoroto and Karen Mayoroto. Marty Mayoroto has 2 brothers who were born in 1985. Their names are Jeff Mayoroto and Steve Mayoroto. Marty and his brother Jeff took a road trip to Alaska, where there were lots of animals. At first, they only wanted to trap fur in cold states for a short time. But as time went on, Marty Mayoroto fell in love with the place and chose to stay longer. In the end, the capture work of Marty Mayoroto caught the attention of people who make shows for the History Channel. They came up to him and asked if they could start a video series about his trapping skills. So, Marty Mayoroto got a chance to make more money and show off his talent on the History Channel show Mountain Men, which premiered in 2012. Their home is in the small Alaskan town of Two Rivers, where Marty lives with his wife Dominique and their daughter Noah. Once a month, Marty Mayoroto takes his Piper PA-18 A150 Super Cube with Tundra tires to his home on the north slope of Alaska's Dranic River. He takes care of his animal traps, which he uses to collect furs, on a sled while he is there. Rich Lewis lives with his wife Diane in Montana's Ruby Valley. He is a mountain lion shooter. It was January 1954 when Rich Lewis was born in the southwest of Idaho. When he was very young, he loved being outside so much that he would explore the nearby mountains instead of going to school events. Over the years, Rich Lewis got older and moved to Ruby Valley, Montana. He has lived there for almost 30 years. Rich Lewis's love of nature became famous in Ruby Valley and the nearby areas after he did several brave things, like putting out flames and protecting cattle from animals that were trying to eat them. He made a deal with the History Channel in 2012 to be on the TV show Mountain Men. His first episode of the show ran in 2013, and he has since been in 83 more. It's his dream to track mountain lions there with the help of a pack of dogs. He said that he was getting too old to do this in Season 6. He didn't come back for Season 7. Forester George Michaud sets up camp next to the Snake River in Idaho's Teton Range. He has loved the woods and the Native American way of life since he was a child. He hunts and traps using methods that are hundreds of years old. George Michaud even found a way to trap small game called the promontory peg that was thought to have been lost over time. From now on, he will only be able to trap in the Tetons with the help of his brains and a team of skilled hunting dogs. Fur hunter Charlie Tucker lives in Ashland, Maine, close to the Great North Woods. He works with Jim Dumond a lot. Charlie has been a hunter for many years and has always thought that people were meant to live simpler lives. He has everything he needs to take care of himself, but he didn't expect the risks that are waiting for him in the woods. It's no longer possible for Charlie Tucker to count on a steady paycheck or a quick ride to the hospital. He will only eat meat that he has caught himself. If the results of his first trapping season aren't very good, his big experiment in being independent might not last long. Kyle Bell was born in New Mexico, USA in October 1957. Growing up, Kyle Bell lived in a simpler time when there wasn't as much technology around. He grew up in a traditional way of life and learned survival skills early on, learning how to hunt and make fire, among other things. He turned his trip into an exciting adventure when he started bronco riding, showing off his cowboy spirit. Kyle's experience in the rough terrain of Cimarron Valley, New Mexico, helped him get a spot on the reality TV show Mountain Men when he moved from the ring to the wild. Kyle and his son Ben were in seasons 3 and 4 together. Kyle's simple life and close relationship with his son charmed viewers. Kyle Bell is a professional game shooter and outfitter. He runs his hunts on 45,000 acres of rough land and lives with his 10-year-old son in New Mexico's Cimarron Valley. Morgan Beasley lives with his girlfriend, Margaret Stern, in the Alaska Range. Both have licenses to fly in the bush. With a degree in environmental science from the University of Idaho under her belt, Morgan Beasley learned how to ride pack horses. He has worked in many different jobs, such as building, cabinetry, fish processing, trail crews, as a guide and wrangler, and even as the caretaker for an Idaho homestead that was out in the middle of nowhere. Once he got to Alaska, he worked as a wrangler at sheep hunting camps to improve his horsepacking skills and started going on long camping trips by himself to see more of Alaska. He has hiked all the way across the Alaska Range. Morgan was on the TV show Mountain Men for 4 years. He lives with his family in Arkansas near the Ozarks. He runs Jason Hawk's Outlaw Forge Works and is a master blacksmith. Preston James Roberts was born on July 17, 1957. He had a big idea and helped start Turtle Island Preserve. He went on many trips with Eustace Conway and was their best friend. For many years, he also co-starred on the hit History Channel show Mountain Men. Preston raised a lot of money for Turtle Island's summer camp grant program by auctioning off the knives he made and used on Mountain Men over the course of the show's 6 seasons. Preston died too soon and too suddenly on July 24, 2017. In his honor, friends and fans from all over the world started a new grant. Preston Roberts passed away because of problems.